Peace and love, everyone. I'm here to talk about relationship gurus. Now, there are several of them. Most of them play on religion, which every time people use religion to market things to the black community, they are marketing to the black woman because the black woman makes up 80% of the black church. Okay, so it just it just pains me to see my sisters just sideswiped. I mean, it's just we be getting slapped upside the head by stupidity because something says Christianity or says Jesus on it. It's like they're not even, sometimes people don't even think beyond to see if it actually makes good sense. Does it look right? Does it smell right? It's like they see the name on something and they don't think. Now, this is not all Christians at all. This is not all Christians. But I know that there are a lot of them that do that. And I know that that means that they're marketing to the black woman because that is the demographic. Okay? It's also one of the most powerful demographics. Okay, so I do see a lot of my sisters who, man, and it's, you know what, I'm not trying to bash anybody because this used to be me. I was the same way, and that's the only reason why I'm saying this is because I remember the confusion. I remember being told, don't do this, do this, don't do this. This is a rule. Don't do this, and you gotta wait, and you gotta wait, and you gotta pray, and you gotta fast, and you gotta, bend over backwards, and you gotta make sure you're shouting, and it's just like, oh my God, it is not all of that. You know what I'm saying? It's being embellished. The message is being embellished. Um, and people are trying to use religion over it, and it's just a universal, real message. Okay, and that's my issue. It's not about a religion because I can say the same thing and cater it to a Hindu god or to Buddha or even an African spirituality. I can make some fancy thing, get up and talk and look really fancy and if I know what your weak point is, if I know what you absolutely need right now, what you're in dire need of, what you just want the most, I can manipulate you. That's what I'm saying. And I'm saying that sisters are being manipulated by these relationship gurus. And this is some real shit. I'm not trying to be funny. Okay? You're being manipulated by them. They have all of these things to tell you this what you should and you shouldn't do. And they're going to tell you that it's just too many rules. Okay? And this is the thing. This is the thing about getting a man and um, meeting your soulmate and meeting your husband and God sending you your man. Let me tell you. Let me tell you what they're really saying. In layman's term, I'm gonna sum up every one of the books that they've written. I know I'm about to mess it up. Every one of the books that they've written because I bought some of them. Okay. Um, and all of the little blog posts they make, all of these tweets y'all keep sending around with each other. Some of them are absolutely ridiculous. If you take it literally, like it should not be taken literally. Some of it you do take literally. You absolutely need discernment to know what is real and what is not, and which one of these people are fake. Because all of them are talking the talk or not walking the walk. Okay, I like some of them are married and they don't even look like they would even want a female. I'm just going to be real about that, and it's very confusing to the eye. And I'm not saying that they don't just look the part, they don't act the part, they're very effeminate. And so I'm just kind of confused about what kind of relationship they have with their wife because the wife is giving women information about how they should behave as a wife, things that they should do. And some of the things that, this particular person has said and some of the other wives that I've heard, they sound like slaves. They sound like they're trapped in some shit and they can't get out of it. They sound a tad unhappy. Some of them sound like everything is peachy. But some of them, because, again, people, act like they are surprised when stuff hits the fan. But there's always signs. As I just said in my previous video, there's always signs about things beforehand. And we know about a famous bishop and his wife, and how he supposedly abused her and hit her in a parking lot, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this happened! Oh my God, I can't believe this happened!" All over the news, especially Christian media. Did you hear someone so beat up his wife? All it was everywhere, right? And if you look at some of her previous, because she would speak as well, she's also a minister. And in some of her previous things, she would say things in the pulpit that were not only inappropriate, but just made her sound as if they were in some type of, dominant, submissive, like BDSM type relationship. And I don't know, because it seemed like he would get off on it. You could see in the camera, she'd be preaching and he'd be standing off this far from her, and the camera's catching it, and you would see she would say something about their sex life, or she would say something that would be just a bit racy, for church, let alone, a pastor's wife to be saying. And he would kind of stare and smile and kind of rock on his heels like it's funny or whatever. So it already seemed like there was something going on there, where there was someone who was, who had a lot more power than the other. I'll say that. And so when it came out that she had gotten abused and stuff, and I was just like, why are y'all surprised? She was also very nervous around him. There were a lot of different signs that this woman gave off. But I don't think people pay attention to, maybe people don't pay attention to body language anymore or something, because to me, people's body language, things they say, I always seem to be able to tell, oh, okay, well, this person is like this. Oh, okay. Alrighty. Like, I can pretty much get someone's energy and sense them really fast. I don't know if it's my intuitive nature, or, um, I don't know. It could be anything. It could be my zodiac sign. I don't know. I've always been a natural detective. I always find out what I want to find out. Very secretive. I'll keep stuff to myself if I don't want anyone to know. It's just, how I roll. So I've been able to always pay attention to stuff like that. And I was like, oh, what's going on there? But you don't want to say, oh, I bet you he's beating her up, because everyone who loves her as a minister, they're gonna cape for her. So it's like, oh no, don't say that, don't say that. That's not nice. You don't know what's going on in their life. Don't talk about a man of God, blah blah blah. So you don't say anything. So I see a lot of stuff all the time. I just don't say anything, or because I don't, you know, once it's confirmed in my spirit, I'll say something about it. Like I was speaking about the preachers who were into the witchcraft, and that's starting to come out now. That is posted or whatever. But I mean, I don't even know. I don't be understanding what's so shocking sometimes. A lot of people are shocked by stuff, and I'm like, okay, I kind of expected that. And then people think I'm trying to be cocky, but I'm not. I'm just being like, no, for real. I kind of already peeped. Game. So some of these situations, when some of these, these marriages break apart, things happen, and people are always shocked because these people are supposed to stay married forever because they're in ministry. I'm like, I saw that being kind of shaky. You know what I'm saying? So that's neither here nor there. As far as some of these women, so you're listening to women who are being dominated. So if you act like them and do everything that they just know, you're gonna get whatever these women got. And these women seem to have all this advice, but it's just all about yielding, and it's all about not being able to do this and not being able to do that, and doing this and doing that to make sure of this. There seems to be there's some confusion there. There has to be a balance. Okay, you can't be doing everything by yourself. That's number one. Number two, no one can tell you about your sex life. No one can tell you that you should not have had sex before marriage, okay? And just because somebody says that that's what they did does not mean that that's what they did. I know a whole bunch of people that are right now at church, in the pulpit, licensed ministers, got the this, got the that, got the collar, and they'll tell you that they didn't have sex before they got married. And I know them, and I know the truth because they used to tell me about it. So people who do that all the time lie about their when they got it's a lot of people that pull a Phaedra. Y'all watch Real Housewives of Atlanta because of that whole Southern Christian mentality. You don't want anyone to know that you was doing it before you got married, but you get up and you tell other people not to. And I mean, it's already been proven in health education that telling someone not to have sex does not prevent them from having sex. What prevents them from having sex, and this is me speaking for being a health and a sex educator, is informing them of the risks involved. You see what I'm saying? When I try to talk to people about herbs, they're like, "Oh no, I'm just take this medicine." Do you know the risks involved? And a lot of times that will switch people from even wanting to do things, the unnatural way. Because they're like, "Oh, I didn't know all that could happen to me just by taking a so and so." Yeah, that's why I suggest this. It works quicker. It does this, and for me, it's easy. It's easy for me to recommend those types of things. But this is because I've actually done it. I've taken the medication and had the problem. I've not taken the medication and found the relief. So I'm telling you what I know. So it's funny when people have been, I mean, you've been doing everything. You've been having threesomes, you've been with the same sex, and then you go to church and then you want to tell people that is evil, that's wrong, and that's this. But you was doing it. And you leave that part out. People who are honest about their testimony, I applaud them. I applaud them about being real. But I'm telling you, I know people that have they're basing careers off of telling you that you shouldn't find out if you're sexually compatible with your mate first. And they did. Or maybe they didn't and they're really unhappy and they tell you to just stay with it. Because that's something else that I see that these gurus be telling people is like, oh, like, if your husband isn't attracted to you or you this and you this, don't, just keep praying. That is some BS. There's a problem there. Something has to be done, whether it be counseling, whether it be separation. Something has to be done for you to be comfortable in that relationship. Why would you tell somebody to just keep suffering like that? And in this particular case, the woman said that she married this guy because she was being pressured by people at church. So she marries this guy because he's a good guy and he's a man of God, right? And that's great. But that doesn't mean that we're compatible. Just because somebody, has the same, doesn't mean, just because somebody has the same belief system or, oh, that's like saying, oh, he's a teacher, I'm a teacher, we should be together. No, just because you have one thing in common doesn't mean that you're compatible. That's not how that works. One puzzle piece can fit and the other piece cannot. Why would you tell somebody that? So they pressured this young woman. She married this guy, and she said the sex was horrible. It was horrible. Seen another testimony where the woman said that she couldn't even feel his penis. Okay, and that's really sad. I feel very bad for her. I'm not trying to be funny at all. I'm dead serious. And both times these women were told to just pray and ask God for peace. How am I supposed to be getting peace when I can't even get none? Like, what are you talking about? I'm married and I can't enjoy it. Like, that's out of line. Because that's something that they always try to say, well, sex is for marriage, sex is for marriage. Well, it sucks. What am I supposed to do? You can only do so much. The young woman says she could not feel the man's penis. Like, I don't know what you can do to fix that. And some people say, well, you just use toys. Well, why? I wouldn't try. What if I don't want to do that? What if I'm uncomfortable with that? Just a hot mess. Like, so they tell you how you should conduct your sex life. A lot of times they'll tell you what a man should and shouldn't be doing. You determine that. So don't let them tell you what your standards should be. Your standards should be formed by you. So that's really the gist of the video. Your standards and what you absolutely want should be formed by you. If you want someone with the same belief system, get that. You want someone that has a PhD, go get that. Do what makes you comfortable, not because so and so said that. It's because somebody wrote a book about this and they've been divorced 3 times said this. Not because someone who has been married for all of 90 days and husband looks like he likes men says that. Not because some dude who I've never seen his wife before says that. These people are lying a lot of the time. These are brands. They're building brands. It's marketing. It's public relations. Okay? And they just have a religious message, so it appeals to you. And there's some truth in there with it, so it does become appealing. Some of the things these people say, I think they're spot on. And in the same breath, I'll scroll down their Facebook or I'll look at their Instagram or somebody will share it on my Facebook and I'll be like, that is some of the silliest I've ever heard in my life. But it'll come from the same person. But you have to have discernment for yourself. You have to think for yourself. And I notice that is a huge problem amongst a lot of women, especially those with low self esteem. Thinking for yourself before you just can't go off of what someone says a relationship should be. Because their shit might suck behind closed doors. Their stuff might not even be real. Okay? Some of it could be a painted picture and people act phony all the time. People act phony all the time. And there's money to be in each of these situations. Notice there's money to be made. There's a lot of money to be made. And so make sure that these people aren't saying things to keep you in a perpetual state where you always need them, which is control, which is abuse, which is not positive. Okay, we have to start thinking a little bit deeper about some of the things that we accept into our psyche and things that we think are true that come from other people that we have not found to be true for ourselves. Getting a man is not about acting or doing things a certain way. It's about being your true divine self. And that's just the bottom line with all of that. Everything that they're saying in those books, be yourself, be true to you, and don't waver on that. And make sure that you're getting all of what you want before you say this is the person I want to be with. That's all those books are trying to say. Respect yourself, honor yourself, and demand what you deserve. Meaning, if someone wants to do something and you don't want to do it, don't feel so insecure that you may never get a man, you may never get another chick that looks this good or whatever, that you just accept it for the time being. Have enough strength to say, no, I'm not going to deal with that. I deserve this. I deserve for a woman to respect me and not talk to me crazy. I deserve for a man to be honest with me. The minute somebody does something that you do not like, cut them the hell off. That's the easiest thing that you can do, and all of the books say that. Even the ones about getting married. They say if he doesn't propose, just leave. Don't get mad. Don't argue about it. Don't be complaining to your friends about it. Just leave. And I've lived through all of this stuff. Just 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 leave and don't settle for anything. Make sure it is 1000% what you want before you actually do it. That's all those books are saying. Doesn't matter if y'all had sex first, all that stuff. How does it make you feel? If it makes you feel good and you're not hurting anybody, you fucking do it. Okay. There's no hard and fast rule, and trust me, there's no documented proof that these people didn't do that. Because I know somebody right now, and this is an older woman. She brags all to high heaven that she didn't have sex before she got married this last time, and she did. So just make sure that you're being true to you. These people don't know your life, and they don't know the person that you're dealing with, and they don't know, how you're behaving toward that person. Because a lot of times we don't even look at ourselves and look at what we're doing. Sometimes we drive people away from us with our actions. I'm guilty of that. So be a little bit more cognizant of what you feel inside. And if you don't know what you feel and if you don't know what you want, you shouldn't be dating anyway because you don't even know what you want. So that's my video on relationship